The strongest man in Korean variety shows just pulled off the quietest wedding in K-entertainment. That's the paradox everyone's been buzzing about. Kim Jong-kook, Mr. Discipline, Mr. No-Nonsense, managed to keep the biggest decision of his life out of the spotlight until it was already done. The result? A wave of questions, conspiracy-level whispers, and one of the most carefully guarded ceremonies we've seen in years. So, what's real? What's fan fiction? And why did the industry's most exposed bachelor choose to stay hidden when it finally mattered? Let's start with what isn't up for debate. On September 5th, Kim Jong-kook married a non-celebrity in a small private ceremony in Seoul. It wasn't just invite-only, it was tight enough to feel like a family gathering with a few legendary names sprinkled in. And yes, the nation's MC, Yoo Jae-suk, didn't just attend, he took the mic as MC, the way only a decades-long friend can. No magazine-style photo wall, no carpet, no press pit. Just a room full of people who mattered and a groom who has built a 30-year career by controlling the narrative when the cameras roll and turning down the volume when they don't. But the secrecy wasn't just for drama, it was a decision with a reason. Think of the prep like an Idol comeback with zero teasers. Guests weren't given the exact location until the last minute. Some were told to come alone. Don't loop in the managers, don't post, don't accidentally tag. Even insiders joked it felt like a 007 run. No leaks, no schedule slips, no, he's probably at Venue X detective threads for netizens to piece together. If you weren't in the room, you learned about it almost the same way the rest of us did, after the fact. For a guy who's used to going viral for gym shorts, variety show chaos, or a turbo throwback chorus, this level of quiet felt loud. Naturally, when answers are scarce, rumors fill the silence. The second the "Who is the bride" was posted, imagination did what imagination always does. Timelines started bending, screenshots got shared. Suddenly, everybody had a cousin who heard she was a cosmetics CEO, or that the age gap was 20 years, minimum, or that somebody saw somebody in a fitness studio who was definitely her because quads. Add in the long-running LA whispers, like those half-jokes or half-myths about Kim's secret life across the Pacific, and suddenly you had the perfect storm. A veteran star with a history of being private, and a fandom culture trained to read clues like it's a survival game. Then Kim finally spoke, and he didn't mince words. This is where the noise met the wall. On camera, with the kind of dry humor only he can pull off, he shut down the most viral claims. No, she's not from the fitness industry. No, there isn't some 20-year gulf to explain the secrecy. No, she's not the unicorn CEO running a beauty empire from a penthouse in LA. And the reason you haven't seen her isn't because there's a scandal to hide. It's because she's not a public figure and doesn't want to be one. End of story. If you've watched him long enough, you know that's very on brand. Protect family, protect privacy, and never make someone else pay the price for your fame. There was one rumor he addressed with unexpected grace. The shotgun wedding talk was inevitable. The wedding announcement came fast, the ceremony came faster, and the dating timeline wasn't even that long. So he answered the question everyone was curious about. At his age, he said, if it were a pre-wedding baby, that would be a blessing. But that's not what happened. No sensational twist, no secret rush job to save face. Just two adults making a decision quickly after knowing it was right. In K-entertainment, where public relationships are treated like limited editions and engagement rumors can tank a comeback, a short dating to wedding timeline seems suspicious to some people. Here, it reads as intentional. They knew, they chose, and they moved. And while the headlines chased secrets, the friends gave us the real tells. If you want the most human snapshot of this story, it's in that pre-wedding video he dropped. No slick documentary lighting, no press quotes, just Kim calling the people who've seen every version of him, the Turbo Era Kid, the X-Man legend, and the Running Man Hammer. The reactions were priceless. Disbelief, laughter, stop lying, and then that whiplash pivot to genuine joy. Yoo Jae-suk, calendar packed as always, still figured out how to be there and host. Haha's jaw basically hit the floor.
와, 올해 들었던 것 중에 충격적인 것 중에
Jisuk-jin, ever the skeptic, had to hear it twice.
결혼하는데 혹시 안 오시면 좀 그러잖아요, 근데.
네가 결혼해요? 네가 결혼해?
And Song Ji-hyo, after years of chemistry jokes, shippers, and playful edits, just went straight to the congratulations.
나 이제 결혼하니까. 오빠? 밥 먹고 가라.
진짜?
오빠! 조용.
너무 축하해, 진짜.
오케이.
대박.
Shock first, smile second, zero prying into who, where, what she does. That's the difference between casual curiosity and real friendship. Friends don't need the headline to validate the moment. Inside the hall, one moment said more than any press release. Kim didn't just walk the aisle. He took the stage the way he's always done, with a song. Not some anonymous ballad, but instead it was his hit. That chorus so many of us have screamed at concerts and variety specials, recast as a promise in a room with no cameras allowed. For older fans, it was the full circle punch. The Turbo Kid turned soloist turned iron-willed TV ace, now singing directly to someone who asked for privacy and got it. No setlist leaks, no shaky fan cams, just a memory, and the kind of chorus you don't post because it's better left in the room. And here's the twist that made netizens do a double take. Months earlier, Running Man invited a tarot reader for a New Year segment. Fun TV, right? Except that reading called the second half of 2025. Romance luck spiking, buying a new place, a destined partner, and even a cheeky line about him wanting to be the one receiving the confession. Fans laughed, then August hit. He posted that letter on his fan cafe, calling this his 30th year and saying he made his other half instead of an album. The tarot clip resurfaced, and whether you're superstitious or not, the timing felt eerie. Add in the recent chatter about his new home, and the whole story picked up that this was meant to be energy that K-culture loves. Fate? Coincidence? Either way, the dots connected just enough to feel poetic. Coincidence or not, it set the tone for what came next. Here's the real reason the wedding stayed off the grid. Protecting a non-celebrity from the machine, because it wasn't about the public. That's the part that gets lost when fandom culture is trained to search for patterns. Kim Jong-kook's public identity is built on consistency and control. Lift heavy, eat clean, speak plainly, and do the job right. His private identity, husband now, asked for the exact same qualities. Keep the people you love safe, don't feed them to the algorithm, and don't turn a marriage into content. For a non-celebrity spouse, the line between curiosity and intrusion can disappear overnight. One candid photo becomes a face, becomes a name, becomes an office and a family, and DMs that should never exist. The older you are in the industry, the more you've seen that play out. Kim's seen it, and he said, "No thanks." And once you see that line, the rumor mill reads differently. Whisper networks don't start because people are malicious. They often start because they care. Fans want to feel included in milestones they've waited for. Insiders want to be right about the thing everyone's guessing. The industry thrives on speculation because it drives clicks, ratings, and the constant oxygen of attention. But there's a line, and this story pushed us to look at it. The age gap talk wasn't just idle curiosity. It was the fandom trying to reverse engineer a motive. The CEO rumors gave the mystery a glamorous silhouette. The fitness theory was lazy pattern matching. The LA storyline was the longest running meme in his circle, kept alive by deadpan jokes on broadcast. Once he answered, the air went out of most of it. She isn't a brand. She isn't a trope. She's a person who didn't ask for the spotlight. For the clearest picture, don't chase headlines. Watch the inner circle. The MC choice says everything. Yoo Jae-suk doesn't just host weddings, he blesses them with a certain tone of warmth, orderliness, and humility. Cha Tae-hyun teasing in interviews shows comfort, not distance. The Running Man cast moving schedules and showing up shows loyalty. If you've watched K-variety long enough, you can read relationships without a single paparazzi shot. These are real friendships, layered over years of shoots, injuries, rating spikes, and mundane weekdays. When the group chat goes off and the schedules shift, you don't need a press release to tell you what the hierarchy of care looks like. Kim's career pulled off a rare trick. He stayed relevant across the idol to variety transition without burning out on either side. The discipline that made him a meme also made him a reliable anchor on chaotic sets. He flirted on camera just enough to be funny, never enough to be reckless. He kept his circle small and his brand even smaller, which are strength, honesty, and routine. For someone like that, the loudest flex isn't a luxury venue or a magazine spread. It's a quiet room, the most famous friends behaving like regular ones, and an exit with no leaks. Why fans are satisfied without seeing her face? Because the story feels finished without a reveal. We watched the announcement land. We saw the disbelief snap into joy. We heard the denials delivered cleanly with no clickbait phrasing. We got the serenade details, intimate, sentimental, perfectly him. And we got enough meta, tarot, new house talk, old jokes that the narrative feels rich without becoming invasive. For K-pop and K-drama insiders, that balance is the unicorn. He gave us a story, not a dossier. So what actually changes now? Newlywed Kim Jong-kook is still Kim Jong-kook. Expect the same iron routines, the same calibration on camera, the same refusal to sell someone else's privacy for ratings. Maybe a bit more softness in the edges, an extra smile when marriage jokes pop up on set, a new layer to the reliable Hyung persona, and a different weight behind songs he's sung 1,000 times. That's the appeal for long-timers. You don't need a plot twist when the protagonist finally gets the ending you were rooting for. And this makes the final takeaway simple. In an industry that often confuses volume for truth, he chose silence and let actions do the talking. He told the people who mattered, drew a line for the rest of us, and kept the promise on the most important day by singing the same chorus that made him a star, just softer, closer, and only for one person. Maybe that's the real reveal. Not the identity of the bride, but the reminder that mystery still has a place in a world that tries to film everything. But that wasn't the whole story. It won't be. There will be more hints, more jokes on set, more little details dropped in passing. And each time, the message will likely be the same. You can love someone loudly without broadcasting them. For a veteran idol who spent half his life giving us show after show, that boundary isn't just respectable, it's the most romantic thing in the room.